Madinah Institute for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, MILE.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here today, and thank you for MILE for this initiative. Actually, I have a couple of friends who attended last week, and they give me a great and impressive feedback regarding the programs. Idea ratings. I'm gonna make this short. First of all, to give you an idea what is idea ratings, how it started, and who started it. Then I'm gonna go a little bit with the business itself and how idea ratings developed from an idea started in 2006 to be, alhamdulillah, a global company covering a lot of regions all around the world. To start, the founder and the entrepreneur behind Idea Ratings is our CEO today, Mr. Muhammad. As an entrepreneur, he started, he took the ship, as he said, to the US, settled in Silicon Valley. His background came from computer engineering. Started with a startup at that time where they developed the online trading for brokerage companies in 1999, around almost 20 years ago. At that time, he lived the boom of the IT in 1999. Then after that, lived the crash actually in 2000. That didn't actually stop him. So he went out with a couple of friends and for a new startup actually that cover hedge funds at that time. And he was able to develop a system for hedge fund managers to let them be able to find their exposures across the stocks that they are investing. For people from non-financial backgrounds, hedge funds usually deal with brokers, and those brokers longing, shorting stocks all over the stock market. So they invent a system to collect these positions and show the exposure of the hedge fund managers for these stocks. In 2006, he himself became a Sharia compliant guy. And he decided that he wanted to start Sharia compliant investments. So the idea came from there. He went and searched the market. At that time, there were like a couple of Islamic or Sharia indices at that time. And once he checked them out, he found a lot of flaws on that. MasterCard, for example, is there. Walmart, which is known for the grocery business in the US, has a lot of pork and alcohol. LV, Louis Vuitton, I know the name is famous. It's been screened as from business perspective as clothes and accessories company, but in the same time it has like more than 13% of its income from a Hennessy cognac alcohol. So it's not a Sharia compliant stock. From there, from the living room, he himself and a couple of friends, engineers and business people, Muslims being there in the US, they decided to go and dig deeper on that regarding the companies, and the idea of idea ratings established from there. Once they set up all the methodologies, all the rules, the research methodologies as well, the system behind the service, everyone actually advised him in order to expand and to show your idea to the world, you have two Islamic hubs, Malaysia and Saudi Arabia. And you have to start from there. He decided to go to Saudi Arabia. He's Egyptian by origin, so it would be closer to his home country. So he decided to came to Saudi Arabia in 2006. At that time, and as he said, he's an Egyptian American. His name is Muhammad Dunya, living in San Francisco, and came to Saudi Arabia talking about Sharia. So it was the wrong combination ever. But again, as he said, he was like a bad penny. He keep coming here, started with Rajhi Bank, the Sharia compliant, the Sharia board there, the business owners there, and he spent like around 3 years going all over the Sharia board, the scholars within Saudi Arabia. Well, alhamdulillah, after 3 years, he actually started the business with the Rajhi Bank. Today, I'm going to give you a little background about the Idea Ratings as a company. We actually, our headquarters in San Francisco, and we have the regional office here in Saudi Arabia to cover the GCC. I'm proud to be the first employee in Idea Ratings for the market here. We have the Malaysian office and our Singapore office and the research center in Egypt. We're covering, provide the services for the asset managers, for the brokerage, index providers. Actually, for us, Idea Ratings is a mission to provide the Muslim investors with the tool and with the correct information that will facilitate their investment, their Sharia investments. Sharia investments, in general, it's not only to put your money in an Islamic investment, like stock markets or sukuk or REITs, or Islamic indices. It's also about purification. It's also about zakat. It's all these type of services and information that you would need in order to be a Sharia compliant or an Islamic investor, actually. Alhamdulillah, today, as I said, we have clients all over the world, and like we have the 3 regions. The big names actually in Europe, like Franklin Templeton, Saudi Arabia, we have Rajhi, Al-Inma, Bilad, all of these people are our clients. And this is how we do it. The idea is to get the data feed into our database. So we have data providers. We get the data and we dig deep into that data in a quarterly basis. We depend, first of all, on the quarterly financial statements of the companies. This is the beginning. And then our team go beyond that by communicating with the companies themselves in order to get the details about all debt structure, investments, liquidity, any information within the companies. From there, we put all of this in a service where it facilitates the screening of the equities. One of the basics that we have in Idea Ratings that we don't have a Sharia board. So for us, we never have scholars on our board, and we adopt the client Sharia board. From experience, we actually been exposed to more than 75 Sharia rule books all over the world. There's no standard actually for that. Some people will take the debt on 30%. Some of them will take it on 33%. Some of them will take hotels as non-permissible activity outside Saudi Arabia and other like that. Some screen the food sector as well. This is the service that we have. Here, each company and any organization could actually put their rule book, their all standards that they have regarding the Sharia rule book, and we dig deeply into that to make the non-permissible income of the company cover all and every aspects of business: alcohol, cinema, porn, music, you name it, stem cells. Would you consider it a Sharia compliant or not? It's your call. Usually the Sharia rule books put the non-permissible income below 5%. So as long as the non-permissible income below 5%, you're on the safe side. You also have the financial screenings. And from there, you can, again, define the debt percentage that you need, the interest of the company, the liquidity ratios, the preferred shares. So whatever is there regarding your own rule book, it will be defined within the system. From there, you can make the screening that you like. So I have a whole universe for a conventional filter on the left top corner. This will show me the whole universe that I have in my system. So I have like around 40,000 stocks. So I'm covering 40,000 stocks all over the world in like 160 countries. The database itself contains more than that number, and those 40,000 stocks is the qualified stocks. So we also go through some business screenings before presenting the number of stocks that we have on the service. By applying a filter on that, and within one click, it will filter the universe to give me like around 7,500 Sharia compliant stock according to a rule book called IOFI, which is the organization in Bahrain, established by Saleh Kamel, to put a standard for Sharia compliant. We adopt this, I'm presenting this rule book. So by one click, I could get exactly the Sharia compliant stocks according to my own rule book. How this works with asset managers? Asset managers need to open new funds in Brazil, in Russia, in a global fund. And they need to do that according to their Sharia rule book. They have a Sharia team. The Sharia team, in order to do that, he needs to get a huge amount of information, actually, first of all, then process it in a quarterly basis in order to keep tracking these and the status of these companies. So we put all this in one service. The thing that is coming right now and we are facing in the market is the IPOs. Whenever there's an IPO, people start to call us, actually, in order to go through the financial statements and their positions regarding the debts, the investments, to make studies, actually. So, because they know if they are coming IPO in Saudi Arabia and they are Sharia compliant, so Al-Rajhi will put money there, HSBC Amana will be there, Bilad, a huge asset managers will actually participate in their IPOs. We cover as sukuk as well. Most of the sukuk that we launched actually either in Malaysia or Saudi Arabia have also some flows regarding the structure, regarding the documentation, all of these things. So we cover also like around 1,000 SUK all over the world by screening them in the same matter. The story, as I said, it's a story of an entrepreneur who started this in 2006. With discipline and integrity, we were being able, alhamdulillah, to have this huge base of customers in either in the GCC, in Europe, and all over the world, actually. The good thing regarding the Islamic finance, and as my colleague here said in his presentation, that it was the AUMs like $1.2 trillion by end of 2012. This number will be more and more in coming forward. So Islamic finance, yes, it's there, it's a trend. Even for non-Muslims or non-Sharia compliant people, they understand that the Sharia compliant rules actually go with social responsible manners and rules, and they are really interested into doing this business in that way. I'm not going to go deeply in using the service. I just would like to give you a flavor of what we have and what we cover, and the story behind actually inventing and the idea of ideal ratings. I hope this is okay, and if there's any question, I'm ready for that.
Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Madinah Institute for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, MILE.